It's the middle of 3 weeks of 4 planned weeks of staying at home. These are hard yards as we approach the end of week 3 in lockdown. So what tricks are your mind playing on you to make you consider taking shortcuts to try to wiggle around the rules? Let's start with optimism bias. Optimism bias, sometimes referred to as unrealistic optimism, refers to the tendency for individuals to underestimate their probability of experiencing adverse effects, such as failure or getting cancer, despite all the evidence. In essence, it leaves people feeling like they're at less risk than they really are, leaving them more willing to take risks. Another way of looking at this is that optimism bias is the difference between our feeling of hope and reality. He's got high hopes. And humans tend to be predisposed to feeling hope. Now, there's nothing wrong with hope, but when it makes us lose track of reality and overestimate the possibility of success, when the possibility of failure means some pretty high stakes, then it becomes a problem. So how and why does this happen? Well, we as humans have brains that are essentially machines built for jumping to conclusions. Jumping to conclusions is efficient if the conclusions are likely to be correct and the cost of an occasional mistake is acceptable, and if the jump saves much time and effort. Jumping to conclusions is risky though. When the situation is unfamiliar, the stakes are high, and there is no time to collect more information, or there is a lag where we can gather more information. That's the situation we're in right now. So how does the brain do this? Think of the brain as broadly having two systems. System 1 is fast and about images, emotions, intuition, and impressions. It operates automatically and quickly with little or no effort and no sense of voluntary control. System 2, however, represents the slow, logical, and rational. It allocates attention to the effortful mental activities that demand it. And one of the tasks of System 2 is to overcome the impulses of System 1. In other words, System 2 is in charge of self-control. Now, sometimes the best we can do is a compromise. Learn to recognize situations in which mistakes are likely and try harder to avoid significant mistakes when the stakes are high. That is, put System 2 in charge when the stakes are high. But the effort of will or self-control, that is putting System 2 in control, is tiring. If you had to force yourself to do something, you're less willing or less able to exert self-control when the next challenge comes around. This phenomenon has been called ego depletion. Now, activities that impose high demands on System 2 require that self-control, and the exertion of self-control is depleting and unpleasant. Now, unlike cognitive load, which is just too much stuff to think about all at once, ego depletion is at least in part a loss of motivation. After exercising self-control in one task, you don't feel like making an effort in another, although you could do if you really had to. In several experiments, people were able to resist the effects of ego depletion when they're given a strong enough incentive to do so. So, what's the right incentive? Well, protecting yourself and others is good, but it might not be enough when we're tired, because we just want to go back to how it was, and our brain is tempted to take the easy way out and become over-optimistic, and we don't want that. A big part of this is awareness. And now you've watched this video, you'll know that your brain is expert at jumping to conclusions and wanting to take the short route out of another 9 days hard work. The problem is that if we all do that, then 9 days could become longer, a lot longer. So maybe we need to think about our value systems now as Kiwis, as carers who look out for others, who don't make a drama, who do the right thing. Like Jenny from Invercargill. No fuss. Stay the course. Be aware that your mind will tell you it's okay to fudge the rules a bit. It isn't. Put System 2 in charge. Tuck those System 1 reckons away. Rest well, take charge, go the full 4 weeks. I'll see you tomorrow because I'm not going anywhere.